What's going on, guys? This is Pikachu OTC from Simple Trade. Welcome to another weekly review in which I'll be talking about some runners from the past week. Before we begin, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss any future videos. And let's get right into it. The first stock for this weekly review is XCPL, and that stock ran about 315% in only 2 days. So let's understand what happened over here on March 30th. So XCPL is a pin current information stock. It is a very low floater, only 41 million. And on March 30th, the official Twitter page of XCPL tweeted, "We would like to take this opportunity to provide further clarity on our Reg A and our goals going forward. When we took the controlling block of XCPL, it was our understanding that the only way to raise capital was through Reg A. Our goal was to raise about $1.6 million from this offering to assist in working capital, hiring an IR firm, SEC attorney fees, and auditing of financials so that we could potentially apply for an uplist to a higher exchange. As someone from the private sector, it was a bit more challenging to understand the negative impact of the Reg A on our shareholders. Our goal now is to eliminate toxic lenders and look to more effective ways to raising capitals outside of the Reg A. The initial Reg A was 200 million shares. We do not forecast issuing the number of shares due to the impact of the Reg A. We are looking at driving revenue to help support our financial needs and non-toxic investors." So basically what he is saying right here is that they are canceling the Reg A that was equal to 200 million shares that were supposed to be diluted to the stock. And that is very, very good news. They are saying that they will look on different ways to raise capital. Furthermore, they do not have any plans for a reverse split. There are 74% of common stocks owned by the CEO. They are seeking opportunities in the blockchain and cannabis sectors. They plan to launch an NFT platform, and they plan to purchase 50 to 75 Bitcoin miners. On top of all of that, on March 15th, they announced an LOI to acquire a Sentiment Capital holding, which are valued at $34 million, and the current market cap of XCPL is around $1 to $1.5 million only. And finally, on March 24th, XCPL Business Service Corporation finalized a partnerships with the company GSPI, another OTC pin current company. So you can see that there are a lot of catalysts. Some happened 2 weeks ago. So why the volume came all of a sudden? Well, the reason is very simple. First of all, the DD got found, it got more exposure and more people saw the potential in XCPL. But the match that started the fire was the tweet from the official Twitter page of XCPL about the cancellation of the Reg A, which is absolutely fantastic news because it says that they won't dilute on the shareholder heads and that they want the best for their shareholders. And now let's move on to the second company of this weekly review, and that stock is ARGQ. The stock ran about 182% in the same day with very high volume. Let's see what happened here. So first of all, ARGQ is a pin current information stock. It is also a low floater, around 360 million shares. And on March 29th, the company issued a press release that ARGQ executes a legally binding letter of intent to acquire United Kingdom-based The Data Source UK Limited. The Data Source is data-driven, business-to-business and business-to-consumer solutions provider utilizing artificial intelligence with lead generation, automation, and analysts. Now, one of the key parts that I'm taking from this press release is the final sentence, as they said management of ARGQ expects to close the acquisition of the Data Source UK Limited in April 2022. And guess what? We are now in April 2022. So you can expect that any day now on this month, per this press release, they will close this LOI. And right now the stock is about 50% from the latest run. So put ARGQ on your watch list because we will most likely talk about that stock again. Now, one of the main reasons that the stock ran 180% with such high volume is due to the fact that the data source was supposed to be merging with an OTC company called CLHI, which is a much low floater of a stock around the 20 million shares only, but the share price of CLHI was around the 40 cents, almost half a dollar. So people might thought that if CLHI was at those prices because of that same LOI with the company, the data source UK Limited, maybe ARGQ will do the same. And as you can see, it was not the same, but 182% of a run in one day with very nice liquidity and 183 million volume is more than enough to make a lot of money from that stock. Now let's move on to the next company of this weekly review, and that stock is DVLP. And as you can see, massive volume, almost an all-time high volume right here. The stock went up around 168% in about 8 trading days. But on this day, as such high volume came in, the stock closed massively red, even redder than the day before. So let's see what happened over here on DVLP. So just like the rest of the companies that we covered up on this weekly review, DVLP is also a pink current information stock, and it is also a low floater, only 265 million shares. And pre-market on April 1st, the company issued a press release in which they announced an execution of LOI with $10 million revenue a year merger candidate. They said that they are extremely excited to move forward with their latest acquisition target in the health and wellness industry. A few highlights: revenue approximately is $2.5 million a year. EBITDA estimated $900,000, aligns with our telehealth platforms, and it is one of several deals in the pipeline, but not the largest. More details coming soon. Stay tuned for upcoming updates, leverage partnership projects, blockchain, healthcare, infrastructure development, and future acquisition target. So you can see that there is more to come for DVLP beside that LOI of $10 million revenue a year merger candidate. And the market cap of DVLP, as those news was released, was around the $2.5 to $3 million only. So we're talking about 3 times the market cap potential runner, so around the 1 penny mark. Now, due to that news, the stock gapped up massively to the price of 0052, got all the way up to 0067, and then dropped down and closed at the price of 0034. So what the hell happened over here? 163 million volume in one day. Why did the stock go down on such great news? The reason is dilution. The company diluted about 5 to 17 million shares on that day alone, and that killed the momentum of the stock and make it go down about 15 minutes after the market opened. These kind of things happen in the OTC. A lot of companies dilute over a great news so that the share price won't be affected so much from the dilution. But what I find interesting from that dilution, that 5 to 17 million dilution, is that if there were 163 million shares traded that day, in which 17 million only was a dilution, that means that about 146 million was retail. So I will surely be looking at DVLP more in the near future because they stated that there are more acquisitions in the pipeline. And now let's move on to the final stock of this weekly review, and that stock is NNRX. The stock ran from the low trips, the 0002, all the way up to the 0008, giving us a 300% very liquid of a run. You can see the volumes right here, hundreds and hundreds of volume per day. And the reason for that is very simple. Another PR from NNRX saying that they announced acquisition closure of DHS Development Incorporation, DBA, the plant. The parties anticipate exchanging closing deliverables to officially close the acquisition in the coming days. The agreement contemplates the purchase of 100% of the plant's assets, operations, and IP. Now, NNRX is a very heavy float of a stock. It has around 10.5 billion shares, and it is actively diluting a large number of shares every day. So it was quite of a surprise that the stock went up so high on that news, but that's part of the OTC. You don't have to have a big news to have 100, 200, 300% of runners, because from the low trips you will see the most percentages of runners. So it was nice to see NNRX running 300% on those kind of news. And that was it about this weekly review, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to drop a like, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the future videos. If you're not on our Simple Trade Discord community, make sure to go to the description and join our community right now, because we bring pure value. We analyze all the runners and we talk about OTC stocks. Lastly, some of those runners all went up and then went down on the same day, on a couple of days later. Now, if you want to know how to manage your risk reward the best way possible and where to realize your profits at the highest prices, consider taking the OTC Oracle course, as it will teach you everything you need to know in the OTC from point A to point Z, and eventually you will be able to find these kind of runners before they run. Once again, thank you guys for watching, and have a green and a profitable week.